At New Balance, we believe if you run, you're a runner, however you choose to do it. Because when you're not worried about doing things the right way, you're free to discover your way. And that's what running's all about. Run your way at newbalance.com/running.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places. Between payroll, your tax consultant, and the IRS. If your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
You found your person. Now let the Knot help you with everything else. The Knot connects you to the wedding inspo, vendors, venues, and planning tools you need to make your day totally you. Having helped plan 25 million weddings, we've got your back when it comes to every little detail like RSVPs, budgets, and more. Because your wedding comes to life with the connections that matter the most. Get started at theknot.com/audio. The Knot. Let's plan your wedding together.
Recording. Hi,
Megan. How are you doing today?
It's another day, riding on, baby.
Yeah, your nose is red. What's going on there?
I'm on steroids. I'm getting absolutely yoked, totally jacked, gym tan laundry, all of that.
GTL.
I gotta say, this shit is crazy. I can't imagine choosing to do steroids. Do you know what I mean?
Just the side effects alone.
That's what I'm saying. That I'm just like, what do you mean that like you want this part? Like that you're like, this is for me the goals outweigh the benefits, and the goal is not to get absolutely swole. The goal is to get less swollen inside my nasal cavities to hopefully, well, no, not even hopefully. I'm willing it to be better, to get better, to get rid of whatever fucking infection I have. But how are you?
I'm all right. Don't you see the sparkle in my eye?
I do. It seems like you're so incredibly well rested.
Mm-hmm. So well rested. So well rested. I was up very late, but everything got done. I'm done. That's all that matters.
And there's no worse feeling than having to stay up late and then not finishing it. Mm-hmm. And you're like, why did I even do that? But you did it.
I did it. And now I will be, after we do this, I'll go take a nap and then we'll be live streaming. It'll be fine. I need to like do an edit, but I don't need to have that done by until Sunday. So
perfect. I showered before this. That's unheard of for me.
Congrats.
Thank you. My hair is wet. I shouldn't even be putting it up because it's bad for your hair. That's why it looks so dark. So I'm going to blow dry my hair after, but you guys are getting that. And you're also getting me and my Camp Walden shirt from The Parent Trap.
Oh.
Mott saw it online. He was like, I love this. And he got it for me.
That's cute.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun. So yeah, this is a brand new episode of But Am I Wrong? Where we tell each other, you, ourselves, and people who may or may not even know the show exists when they're being wrong. Sometimes it's solicited, as in you, our listeners, who we love and care about so much. We're not like finding you doing something out of pocket in the wild and being like, listen to this, unless, you happen to be like in the news or on social, it ends up going viral. If it ends up coming across our desk, otherwise you are submitting those to us. So
you're in the clear.
Yeah. We're not trying to come at you out of left field. But there,
one might say, swerve in the corner. Whoa.
You know what that immediately made me think of was the person who tagged us in the duck who was like, hold on, grab the ball. And you just wanted no. And I responded, yes. Melissa, I asked
hated that so much.
I showed Moss this morning. And by the way, I was singing that song. And then I saw the tag and I was like, shut up. Like, how did you know this song was already in my head? And I asked Mods, I was like, is this song like important to you? And he was like, no. And I was like,
No.
is this song really famous? He was like, not to the level that you think it is. And then I had to look it up, of course. So I said, okay, then I assume he's from California. And he is. And he is from, I would say, Bay adjacent, like North Bay.
I mean, I'm quite familiar with the song, but it just
doesn't.
What year did it come out?
2012.
And see, that's after my college time. So I feel like a lot of those songs that are just very dance, like it's a song that you hear in the club.
Well, it gives you instructions, much like Cupid Shuffle. It tells you to slow down. It tells you to grab the wall and then wiggle like you're trying to make your
ass fall off.
It's lyrically, it's fucking perfection.
Is it? But
yes.
Anyway, but like those types of songs are like, you know, like they give you nostalgia.
Yeah.
And none for me.
There's just something, there's something about those lyrics that I just go, poetic prose. Like that is like Nobel Peace Prize. What are the ones you get for writing? A Pulitzer. Oh yeah, Nobel laureate. Like all of those. Like that was it's art, and I love it, and I would kill to get one of those videos of like in the recording studio, you know, that classic video of like Jay-Z eating the banana. Like I need a video of like how was that pitched, and the whole time. By the way, it took me. I've watched that however many times a year. It pops up on your feed for the last however many years. This year's the year. I was like, is that a banana? The whole time it is. I never noticed that part.
I love seeing videos of Timbaland.
Oh my God.
Because really, if we look at it, he's stimming. Like it's like he is vibing, he is feeling it, and he's already heard this beat because he created it.
No, he's so high on his own supply, and I go, exactly.
And
I am
that's
too.
what we need. That's what we need. And he's a genius, as we know, but like it's just funny because every time you see him, it's like he's hearing something for the first time. I
love it. And I just need one of those videos of one of my favorite songs, which, what is it called again? Gas pedal. Gas pedal. Gas pedal. And also, how do we get to gas pedal? Do you know what I mean? Like, none of these, this is why it's a haiku to me. None of these things, we go, slow down, grab the wall, wiggle like you're trying to make your ass fall off. Ass fall off, ass fall off. And then suddenly it's a game of telephone. Ass fall off, gas pedal, gas pedal. And now it's just gas pedal, and you just can't stop shaking. And I love a song that gives me instructions.
Yeah, and I hate how Gen Z, a lot of songs that have instructions that are from the earlier aughts, they're just doing what they want to it. Why?
I forgot what song it was, but I saw someone to a song that the song itself is the name of the dance, and they were doing something totally different. They were like doing this stanky leg to something like that was like, I don't know, something like insane. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And it was just all of these people from the Bay Area being like, no, let me fucking show you how to do this.
PMO.
Love that acronym. It applies in my life.
I read it in a very specific way when I see it. Pissed me off.
Yeah.
It's not even like pisses me off. It's like piss me off.
Well, what won't piss you off, hopefully, is this show. Yeah. Unless that is the goal, is to piss us off. So we have 3 segments. We'll get into each one of them before the respective segments. We don't overwhelm you with information, but the key factor is while we love that you listen, and you can also watch the video version on Patreon, we also love the fact that you can vote on who you think was wrong in every segment on the show. So we post votes over on our Instagram story, and you get to say if you think who's in the wrong, who wasn't in the wrong. Well, you vote who was in the wrong. And therefore, by voting that way, it tells us who you don't think was in the wrong. And then you can also respond.
Way more complicated.
I know. I'm sorry. You can respond and also reply and let us know why you voted that way, your thoughts and feelings. And then we read all of that on our Tuesday episode called See You Next Tuesday. You have 24 hours to vote, and I also put them in highlights. So you can check it there. And if you miss the voting, you can also still write in about your thoughts.
Yeah. If you're listening to the episode and you're like, I immediately have thoughts, write them down. Yeah. We want to hear them.
Shall we hop into the first segment?
Before we do,
Oh no.
We have an update.
Oh no.
And I want you to read it.
Oh my God. I'm being bullied, everybody.
No, you're going to love it.
Oh, okay, great. So, oh my God, I just read one letter. And my one letter. I read 2 letters, and then I read the third one next to it, and it's MBJ. I think we know where this is going. And if you don't,
yes.
you guys are so fucking, like, you have, anyone who has not heard this one yet, like, you're in for such a fucking treat if you go back and listen to that episode, because we literally it's been over a month since, we will have to put like a memorial, like we can't talk about it if we are like in a rush, because like we will both break down in tears laughing so hard. Like that's how funny it is. It is still that funny to this day. If we think about it or talk about it too much, I get back to day one. I'm never used to it.
So the writer originally wrote in and asked would they be wrong to break up with their boyfriend because they found a burner account for Instagram that their boyfriend is running where they just leave comments on people's Instagrams being like, so you thought you ate with that?
No, specifically, so you thought you ate with that sweater. The sweater. And then for the first time ever, when I've been asking people, when you're giving us like this story, tell me who would play them. Like, give me a vibe, because here's the thing: I'm going to like judge what you're about to put up with to a different level, depending on like how hot are they, or just like the vibes. And for the first time, someone actually went through with it and said that, but they said, think of him like a white Michael B. Jordan.
And we were confused.
Was obviously.
Physically, mentally. Speaking of, I can't wait to see him as a twin.
Me too. This is the first time I'm ever going to be like, twins? Love them. Actually, Mary-Kate and Ashley were the first.
Yeah.
But these ones?
Take me to Paris.
So I still can't be okay with that because of things we've heard on our podcast. I'm traumatized when it comes to incesty twins.
Yeah, but like they're not real.
Exactly.
If you think of it like a clone, it's just like double your pleasure, double your fun.
Clones are a very different thing.
Yeah.
Because clones are intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Twins are like God's clones. And it's like, no one came in with that. Like, this is just, no one asked for that. Okay. Hi. I'm the writer that talked about white Michael B. Jordan. First, what I meant by calling him the white Michael B. Jordan is that he's extremely handsome to the point that you can literally see heads turn while we're out. Very muscular and well-spoken, but he's a nerd and he's very romantic, loves his family. Oh, so you fully meant vibes. And this is, and when I said, do you mean Michael B. Jordan's Architectural Digest? I do think you meant Michael B. Jordan's
exactly. It was Architectural Digest.
Loves his family, charisma. Oh my God, that is so funny. This is how you know we're like in too deep, like with our love of him, that like we can like, okay, what are you referencing him on the red carpet interview with his middle school bully? Or are you referencing his Architectural Digest interview? Like we know all of those public facing sides. Or the one who I met when I tried to tell him I loved him in Creed and I couldn't get the words out. Okay.
Stuttering.
Second, I was cracking up during this whole episode. Thank you. We were too. Third, we're still together. While I was initially getting the ick, I listened to the episode, thought more about how much I actually love him, so I had a chat with him. He was embarrassed that I found out, but not mad. He said that the account started because he was trolling people from high school that would make fun of him for liking anime, but then it expanded to him dunking on Republicans. See, that's fine. It gives him a good laugh without being extra mean. While I understand his reasoning, I told him it was offensive to use AAVE, and he said he wasn't using AAVE because he was purposely using the slang wrong to sound like an annoying white 20-year-old who, quote unquote, thought they ate, but trying to co-op AAVE. Honestly, that made me crack up, so that's my update. He said, I see you, but the goal of the character that I am playing is that. Which I have to say, all of the best burners, you have to have a character. My burner account, it doesn't have any photos. Don't say what it is, but like the username matches the profile. And it's like, you wouldn't know. And so I agree that you do have to pick a persona. And I guess he picked a persona where he goes, actually, no, I understand it's problematic. That's the goal because he is problematic, not me. Mm-hmm. This character.
Which...
What's the picture?
I like how well thought out it is. It's very intentional. It gets the point across. And like he said, it's not extra mean, but you get to blow off some steam.
This is so funny because I actually think this checks off 2 versions of white Michael B. Jordan, and it also is the interview with the high school bully.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And being like, yeah, you guys used to make fun of me. And she's like, well, no. And he's like, yeah. And he's having that exact same experience, just behind the keys. Wow, I love this. I think you should show him this episode. Not this.
Yeah.
I mean, you can show him this one, but like really the initial one, because it is so funny. And we supported him in the chaos of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that he would enjoy that.
I'm trying to think if there is a white man that fits this description, and I can't think of any. So I feel like this was who you had to make the comparison to.
And like at this point, I'm kind of glad you gave us no context initially, because that's so fucking funny.
It gave us so much joy and confusion and tears and giggles.
And no, and like now that's like something people will comment on our shit, being like, you really thought you ate with that sweater. Like it has become a joke amongst the community. And like, please tell him, white Michael B. Jordan, we love your work. So good. So good. We got to get him playing the triplet in the movie.
Oh, well, I'm not going to lust after somebody else's man.
No, I want to do that either.
Did you see the video recently that he posted on his Instagram where he's in the kitchen cooking?
Oh. Yeah, but I can watch it again. Thanks for the reminder. Oh my God. It's like hard. Sometimes it's hard to look at him.
I know. That's why I didn't go back to it. But I have the memory ingrained in my mind,
like,
so I can just close my eyes and take me back.
He means so much to me on like a sexual level.
On so many levels.
I mean,
personal,
I love
sexual,
him so much.
Physical, emotional, lickable.
Mm-hmm. Delectable. God. Anyways, Michael, we're not creepy at all. And this is not the only thing that we have ever been like, we have to stop talking about, because neither one of us is okay with the other one having him. Nope. And even Mons is like, I know that. Like, that's her man. So thank you for that update. We are going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with our first segment.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
You found your person. Now let the knot help you with everything else. The knot connects you to the wedding inspo, vendors, venues, and planning tools you need to make your day totally you. Having helped plan 25 million weddings, we've got your back when it comes to every little detail like RSVPs, budgets, and more. Because your wedding comes to life with the connections that matter the most. Get started at theknot.com/audio. The Knot. Let's plan your wedding together.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
for the first segment. Our first segment is But Am I Wrong? Where we each say something that's either going on in our life, or we might have a hot take, a rant, or something like that that we want to share with the class. And mine is a simple yet poignant statement. If you find yourself agreeing with Candace Owens, my friend, I hate to break it to you, but you are sliding down the alt-right pipeline. You're not even one stop away. You need to get off that toboggan, hop on off, run the opposite direction, and unlearn all of that web of shit that you just accidentally fell into. And I think at this point, with everything that we know, I am finding it increasingly hard to have patience, which I should, for people who are choosing to take things in a vacuum. And I commented this on my friend Maite on TikTok, her video about it, where she said this exact same thing, and this is how I've been feeling. And what I comment on hers, and I was like, the thing that drives me so crazy is people think that things exist in a vacuum, but it's not a vacuum. It's the pipeline. You are on that pipeline. Mm-hmm. And I found it when people were trying to comment on when I found that Trump picture, being like, oh my God, look at Candace Owens' video. And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, you don't have to agree with her, but she could be right with this. I go, no. A broken clock is right twice a day or whatever. Her, Piers Morgan, all of that stuff. There are a couple things that they have said in relation to Palestine that I'm like, hey, if I didn't know all of the anti-Semitic and all of the Islamophobic things you've ever said, if I took all of that context out, I might go, this statement has some compassion here for the people of Palestine. But you can't take all of that context out, because these are people who profit off of this. They have an end goal. They want retaining viewers, all of these things. These things are connected. And if you find yourself agreeing with one thing, it's not I guess we're all right at some point. No, because I saw, who said this, but it might have been a TikTok, it might have been something else, but it was someone talking about the broken clock theory and saying you would never look at a broken clock for the right time. You'd look at the functioning watch, you'd look at the clock that works, and then maybe your eyes catch a glimpse of that other clock and you go, oh my God, it actually has the right time at this exact time, but you don't look to it to be right, ever. And so to view that as going to a source that is alt-right, problematic, entirely corrupt, so horrific in the things that they stand for and the things that they say, going to that source and putting all of that out of your mind is impossible. So you are letting that be there. You are letting that be the context and the stage for what this person is saying and what information you're receiving. And at the end of the day, you are not separating that. You are getting closer and closer to agreeing with the rest of those beliefs. And it's just been incredibly frustrating to watch. And people be like, even if in my life I ever had an opinion that aligned with Tucker Carlson, my instinct is not, damn, he's right for once. I go, this is time for me to reflect on, am I wrong? How did we get to the same place? And then, yes, there are instances the comments on Palestine where I'm like, oh yeah, yours is rooted in the fact that this is an attempt to get young people on your side. And then the next time when you actually have a Palestinian on, you're being incredibly racist, incredibly Islamophobic, and all of this shit. You don't even align with this to the next day. This is a tool that you are using. And other than that, if you only look at it as an isolated incident, you will be so screwed on what your social, political, and moral beliefs are in 6 months, I promise. And it's just making me pissed off and I don't want to be shocked anymore, but I still am. I'm like, good God, really, this, you align with this.
What was really getting me was how many people were telling you, go look at Candace Owens' videos, whatever. There is a marketing technique that these people are employing to say something that gets you, a person that has left-leaning views, moderate views perhaps, to get on the hook because... Not me personally. Not you. I'm talking about...
I just want everyone to know I don't have moderate views.
No. You as in the audience.
Yes.
So they can say one thing that'll hook you in, be like, okay, maybe, maybe they have some things that can be of value that I can listen to. And then you listen, and then they'll sprinkle in a little bit more of those things that you want to hear, but then the rest will be nonsense or hateful or racist or homophobic. Like, it'll be things that are so egregious, but because you've heard those few things that she said or he said or whoever it is, whatever they said, you're like, okay, so I disagree with them on that, but I'm sure they'll say something else that I'll agree with. And then it's just a cycle of bringing you in, holding you at arm's length until you just keep listening, and then you have a change of views.
And once you become comfortable with hearing that kind of rhetoric and you're like, I'm tuning it out. You're not. I'm not comfortable hearing that. It immediately turn off. No, I don't trust anything you say. This is, you're fundamentally wrong. You are fundamentally a bad person. If you're able to filter that out, you're not filtering it out. You're hearing it. It's coming in. You're taking it in, and you're becoming okay with it. You're being complacent with it. And being complacent with bigotry is bigotry. And that there is not, it's not even a slippery slope. It is a one step from being complacent in it to being a perpetrator. Mm-hmm. It makes me like, I mean, I have her blocked, and I'm like, I feel like you shouldn't be able to tag her.
I haven't seen anything like.
Oh, I have her blocked, but
so do I. But like, I haven't seen anyone even make commentary on her. Like, I forgot she existed until I saw people saying stuff on your TikTok.
Yeah, so that started it, and then it feels like she is trolling me at this point, because it was that, and then now she is the absolute like word of God for the Justin Baldoni lovers. Like, she says that she talked to Blake Lively, a family member of Blake Lively, and she is now saying, and part of the reason what she's doing and how she's hooking people is that she's saying that Ryan Reynolds is like, Blake Lively is facing abuse, but it's from her husband. Her husband is jealous and he is being controlling and abusing her. So there are people being like, I'm a feminist. I believe this is a man's fault, but I believe it's his fault. And I go, what? Because she told you that. Like, yeah, she talked to her family member. I go, no, she didn't.
Think about the worst. But even if she did, let's say she did. Think about the worst family member that you have, and then someone using them as a reference for something.
Yep. And it's like, no, I would rather believe through word of mouth from this woman who is entirely hateful and has a complete agenda of turning of the alt-right. I would rather believe her than court documents from a woman who experienced this, as well as any of the evidence of the other people who are on set, or the fact of his other lawsuits that he has settled, all of these things. And it's like, you're participating in a character assassination. And the amount of people who are like, well, I think Blake Lively's a bad person. I go, I hate to break it to you. This is brand new news to you, everybody. Bad people can also face workplace sexual harassment. Mm-hmm. People who get married at plantations can also face workplace sexual harassment. This is the issue when you have subsets of this happens in, I can speak for white women, happens in the sense of like differentiating and separating yourselves from other minority groups, being like, no, then they'll save me. The men will save me. Like, I'm a white woman, so I will align myself with the white man will turn your back on you every time. Like, it is not, you will never be protected in that aspect. You'll be protected because you are white. As a woman, you are still a woman. So to turn your back on that, and like, there's also this other thing that is mind blowing to me. And I didn't watch Jane the Virgin, so maybe that's why. That people keep using the term like, oh, Blake Lively and her white woman tears. And I'm like,
he's a white man.
They don't know that. People are convinced that he is not a white man. And they're like, and then the one that like, it makes me like so irate, I can't even talk about that. Like, there are, and it's white people doing this, obviously, who are comparing it to Emmett Till. And I'm like, what the fuck?
What?
Have you, I'm sorry. Do you know what that is? So tell me, in this scenario, who is the young black boy? The fully grown adult white man? The fuck?
I hate it here.
It makes me so mad. And I think if anybody on your like quote unquote side are using these arguments, rethink what you are aligning with. You can be a bad person and like a character assassination of like, look at all these bad things she's done. Yeah. Okay. They're literally pushing out like articles about like how like she used to like crop dust on set, and I'm like, what? Like, she would fart on set. I'm like, okay, like,
who among us hasn't?
By the way, I'm okay. All I'm hearing is you've never been on set before. Like, Sets are
You
so
haven't
farty.
had Crafty.
I would say Crafty is the fartiest foods in the fucking world. Leo used to, like, on purpose, he would eat all of these fucking sugar-free gummy bears that would make him fart. And right before I was in a scene, he would run in, he would fart, and then he would run away, and they'd make action. And suddenly I'd just get a whiff of his fart. And I'm like, oh my God.
Disgusting.
Like, he is disgusting. Love him to death. But, like, it is just, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard one, like, that was, like, really hard for me. That was, like, very disheartening. And, like, I had friends who were falling for that, and, like, I was talking to them constantly about it, and, like, we banned any conversation about it in our groups, and, like, anyone talking about it, and made it explicitly clear, like, this is a safe place for women. Like, we're not going to let anybody debate on whether or not they think that this is justified, or, like, there's just no room for that. I don't want you to agree or disagree. And the same reason why, like, I'm not going to get up on here and let people vote on who you think is wrong, Justin Baldoni or Blake Lively. Like, that goes against everything I believe in. But, like, Candace Owens in this instance, to view this, even if you take away that aspect of it, you throw in her fucking shit about Emmanuel Macron, like his wife, what any of the fucking shit she's doing. If you find yourself agreeing, and she's made, like, insane takes about the fire, like, all of this shit, just, this is a you problem. This is not a, oh, good job, Candy-O. It makes steam come out of my ears.
All right, my turn. Mine is also a simple statement, not so controversial, but
I hope that's not controversial.
I was going to say, that's not a controversial statement. It's just what it is.
Unfortunately has been.
Mine is, just because you talk a lot does not mean that you're a great conversationalist.
Ooh, some people need to hear that.
First of all, a conversation goes both ways. Like, both people have to be talking. If you are talking just because you need to fill space, or you feel uncomfortable because you just need to keep talking because you don't like the sound of nothingness, or you just like to hear your own voice, or you're just being a motor mouth just to talk, stop. Like,
or get better at it.
Take a breath. Talk about things people care about. Do not be out with someone and they order chocolate ice cream and you ask them, why are you getting chocolate? Because I want to?
Who did
that?
This?
Is stupid. We're just gonna keep going. Like that? What? How stupid?
No, I mean, like, try again. Like,
or you're always asking why about things instead of just letting things be. Sometimes it's just because.
If you are over the age of 5, I give my nephew 3 whys, and then he's 5. I'm like, 3 whys, and then I'm done. Mm-hmm. But adults be like, well, why? I go, truly can it?
Shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
If you are just talking and droning on without any humor, without any back and forth, any banter with that person, here's the thing. People that say, oh, that person can talk to a brick wall, that's not a compliment, in my opinion. That means you're talking to something that cannot talk back to you. So you are, in fact, talking to hear yourself talk. I don't think you're meant to be able to talk to everybody. There's a reason why chemistry works. And I mean that in like platonic, non-platonic, like, you do not have to have a conversation with everybody. Let's say even you're out networking. You're not going to make a connection with everybody in that room. So you do not need to talk to everybody in that room and feel like that you have to get their number. If you didn't feel anything with that person, if you guys did not have banter back and forth, if you do not see a need to keep talking to that person further, except for to run your mouth, move on.
I need to know what started this for you.
If you feel the need to use voice memos because you can't fully explain yourself in a text message, and you also, like, I understand everybody doesn't want to get on the phone call, but a voice memo is just a one-way conversation.
It's a podium.
Let's summarize this and put it into a text message. I don't need to hear all your thoughts and feelings on everything. I don't need to know your why. Just because you're so constantly wanting to hear my why, I don't need to know your why. Wrap it up. Summarize. Give me a thesis statement. Be better. Let's bring conversation back.
Bring back dialogue. More dialogue, less monologue.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? I can stand by that because I do have to memorize a page-long monologue.
Can't wait to hear all about this.
I need to know what this came from.
No.
Please.
I'll tell you later.
Okay, good. I will say though, just as a quick for people, because I don't want them to vote that you're wrong. If you have a voice memo friendship with another person who you voice memo with, this is not about friendships. This is about a voice memo to someone who you're not wanting it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Lily and I will send voice memos back, but like
because you're sending it back and forth. But
yeah.
if it's somebody that
out of the blue voice memo is truly like so startling.
It's just as bad as getting an out of the blue FaceTime.
Yeah. And well, the voice memo like part, I'm just like, you sat there and did all of that. It's not like, oh, you didn't call me back. And for those people, might I recommend a Sony Handycam and a vlog or a journal.
I think most people first a journal.
Mm-hmm. And then you can even open up your photo booth and then just talk to yourself.
Yeah. And then you can look at it, analyze and be like, is this something that will benefit at least 15 other people? And if your answer is no, that is just for you. You close that up and you put it away to the next time you have thoughts and feelings.
Yeah. Make a scrapbook. I love a scrapbook.
Yeah. Express yourself in photos.
Yeah. Dye your hair. Get bangs. Stop talking and get some bangs.
Right.
This is why I'm so glad I'm funny, because I am like a certified yapper, and I won't talk to anybody.
You have meaningful conversations, though.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's why I'm funny, and it's also like I'm never someone who's like, oh, she can talk to a brick wall. Do you know? I will never talk to a brick wall because I don't want to talk to a brick wall because I don't need to. If that's my only option, I'm just gonna
shut the fuck up.
I'm just gonna pivot away from the brick wall. Like, but you're right. That is not a compliment, and I'm realizing all the times I've said that, and like I'm recognizing, like I actually don't think I meant
shady.
No,
it's
and like
shady.
I think I was being shady, but I don't think I realized it.
Mm-hmm.
I was being earnest. I meant it, but like I don't think I realized. I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually not. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, there's an art to conversation that I don't have that I really appreciate. One person that has that is Gabe. Is he? Like, for instance, we were on a call earlier today. It was for his podcast. And he asked the person, oh, so like after the call was over, so where do you live? And they told him like downtown. And then Gabe asked, have you ever been to the Fabric District? I have been. And I like went on into like something that was really interesting. And the person was like, yeah, I actually used to live over there. And this is what, like, I think being able to find little things in conversation is beautiful, but just to talk, shut the fuck up.
No, and you have to be good at reading vibes. Because like I can be a big talker even with like random people. Like I'll like ask like, you know, someone who's drawing my blood, like I'll whatever. Like I'm gonna talk, but
you also know when to shut up,
and I'm gonna meet that person where they're at. Like it's not like, hey, I have a topic I want to go into talking about this. I'm just like, I'm opening up this for conversation. And yeah, sometimes it bites me in the ass. Like that time that the nurse taking my blood pressure, this was in 2016, was talking about his love for Trump, as he was also saying he was visiting his family at the border for the last time. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he was like, no, I love Trump. And I was like, so do you hate your family? He's like, no, I love my family. I'm like, I'm just going to say goodbye to them forever. And I'm like, okay. So super fucking weird. And then he goes, why is your blood pressure so high? And I said, sir, I wonder why.
And, you know, that is sometimes people are just talking and they give you information that lets you know this is not a safe place for me. And then you will not go back there.
And you go, hello, I'd like to report one of your nurses for telling me how much he hates gay people and trans people for no reason, just because I asked what his weekend plans were. So, you know, it's good to know. Well, you're not wrong.
Thank you.
We are going to take a break and we will be back.
Hi, I'm Laura Cathcart Robbins, and I am the host and creator of the podcast, Only One in the Room. Every week, my co-host Scott Slaughter and I invite you to join us and lose yourself in someone's only one story. The Only One in the Room has a wide variety of guests, from prisoners to abuse survivors to swingers. With 21 seasons and counting, we guarantee that Only One in the Room will have a story that you'll connect with. This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt alone in a room full of people, which is to say that this podcast is for everyone.
Hello, I am Kristen Russo.
And I am Jenny Owen Youngs.
We are the hosts of Buffering the Vampire Slayer once more, with Spoilers, a rewatch podcast covering all 144 episodes of, you guessed it, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
We are here to humbly invite you to join us for our 5th Buffy prom, which, if you can believe it, we are hosting at the actual Sunnydale High School. That's right. On April 4th and 5th, we will be descending upon the campus of Torrance High School, which was the filming location for Buffy's Sunnydale High, to dance the night away to 90s music in the iconic courtyard, to sip on punch right next to the Sunnydale High fountain, and to nerd out together in our prom best inside of the set of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
All information and tickets can be found at bufferingcast.com/prom. Come join us.
Hi, I'm Sarah Gabrielli, and I've traveled to every single lesbian bar in the country for my podcast, Cruising. Each episode of Cruising features a different space and tells the stories of the humans that run it and the humans that call it home. You can listen to Cruising on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Season 1 and 2 are available now, so be sure to binge them before Season 3, which will go beyond the bars to queer bookstores, farms, peace encampments, and more, premiering February 4th.
We're back. It's time for the next segment, which is But Are You Wrong? Where you write in with what you are dealing with, what you're facing. Maybe you're at a crossroads of being like, oh, would I be wrong if I did this? Or would I be wrong if I did this? Or, so sorry, everybody, I already did the thing. Was that wrong now that I'm reflecting on it? It can be, current, or it can be, hey, this thing that I did 6 years ago is keeping me up at night and it's affecting me. Put it to rest. Help us do that. So we're here with our gavelers, boo-boo, and we will tell you if you are in the wrong. So you can send that over to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. Keep it under 300 words. Please let us know your age. You do have to be 18 or over. Or I guess you could have your parents' permission, but just be over 18 years old, please. And
simplifies things.
Yeah, just do that. Because also, I don't really believe if you're getting your parents' permission on this show specifically. And it is all anonymous, so use your little fake names, and we can't wait to hear from you. So, first up. Hey, Meghan and Melisa, I'm 22, she, her. My friend is 21, she, her. We are roommates. They are roommates. By the way, I saw John M. Chu, I guess, I don't know if he intentionally made the joke, but during the, what is this feeling so sad and loathing, he referred to it as their first, he's like, well, and they were roommates. I call it their first date. And I was like, yep, this song is.
I think he was very intentional with that.
I think so too, but I was like, oh, I love that. And so many people are just now discovering that, yeah, no, you're not, this is intentional. They also kiss in the book. This is,
There's tension there.
We are roommates and have lived together from sophomore through senior year. I think that speaks a lot of our friendship. Anyway, we are having a party and she wants to invite some dude from Hinge over that she's never met in person. She doesn't think it's a big deal and the perfect setting to invite someone over since a lot of people will be here, but I don't really want some stranger coming to my home. Just because a lot of people will be over that night doesn't mean that there will be a lot of people over the next night. Would I be wrong to force her to go on a pre-date with him to vet him? I know that still doesn't mean that something is normal, but at least she'll know him. At least she'll know a little bit about him. Here's the thing. I don't think you're wrong, but I do think if her judgment is invite the stranger over to my house, I don't know how good at vetting she's going to be.
And has she done this before? Have you unknowingly known that she's invited Hinge somebody over? They were just coming and hang out, and this is the first time. Y'all have known each other for 3 years. She's 100% had people over before, but is this Hinge thing new?
Yeah, did she just get out of a relationship? Is this her first time on Hinge? I will say who would do this. And I to this day yell at her all the time. Lily would do, she would plan to go out with someone and then be like, oh, and I understand.
My back hurts.
Her back hurts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to invite him over to my apartment to smoke. And I'm like, don't do that. Like, first of all, the best case scenario is he's weird when he's high and he's annoying. And then he's like stuck as like a fucking marshmallow on your couch and you can't get him to leave. Worst case scenario, he's a serial killer and he knows where you live. Like, stop. No, no. And I literally like would yell at her all the fucking time about it. And I think objectively your friend is wrong and you are roommates. So you get a say to be like, no, you cannot invite a stranger over to our house. I'm not okay with that. I just don't think that this is the solution.
Also, though, if you're having a house party, other people will be inviting people over that you don't know.
Yeah.
That, unfortunately, is how house parties go. But at least, hopefully, you know the person that's inviting the other people over and they actually know this person in real life. Because what if y'all are having a Valentine's Day party and everybody just invites their Hinge people over?
At least get an Airbnb.
Get something.
Don't let them know where you
gigster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this to me is like, she doesn't sound like has ironclad, really wonderful, strong judgment. So I would say, I don't know that the vetting will be done for her, like done well in that way.
Unless you go where
That's what
you
I'm saying.
guys go to a coffee shop and you sit at a table that's directly next to theirs, but pretending like you don't know them, and you listen to conversation, and then you're texting her questions to ask him.
Yeah, because what if she like comes back and she's like, okay, and like, okay, like I vetted him. It's like, what did you ask? Oh,
what's his favorite color?
Loves the color. So I say he loves the color blue. He has a dog named Bingo. And I go, no, he doesn't. That's a lie. Or whatever. But like, what's his profile look like? Have you seen that part of it?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
have you stalked his Instagram?
Yeah. Do you have mutual friends? Like, where do you live? Like, you're what, 21?
I would
21,
think
22. You would, without a doubt, you have to have at least a couple mutuals.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think that like that's a good way to kind of go about it. Otherwise, find another friend and be like, can you bring someone for her to meet that's not this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're trying to merge two different things, which is meeting someone at a party through a mutual friend and a Hinge date. They're not the same. They are not the same instance and they're not the same interaction. And I also know people who got together, they had matched on Hinge, they'd like talked on Hinge a bit and then nothing really came from it. And then they met each other in person at a party through mutual friends.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. But no, that's like being like, I'm going to meet my Hinge date at this coffee shop, but like, we're not going to have coffee together. We're going to like meet in line and then pretend that like we just met serendipitously. Like you can't do that. If you're meeting a stranger who knows what you look like and they're like looking for you, you don't also give them your home address.
There was somebody that met their person and I do believe they're still together. They stalked their Instagram and would accidentally bump into them somewhere and then knew the kind of things that they were interested in because they had stalked their Instagram. Yeah. And then made this person fall in love. Then later they found out after they had fell in love and they were okay with it.
Okay, so either one of these people is very hot or both of these people are.
They actually were both attractive
there
people.
You go. Because here's the thing. That helps. You're able to look past that. But I will say people are like, well, if they're hot, anything's okay. I'm going to tell you right now, I have had hot guys do some really fucking creepy, weird shit.
No, thank you.
I've had attractive, athletic, intelligent, rich guys do some of the weirdest shit and have the worst and weirdest personalities. I'm out. Mm-hmm. And then I've dated broke guys on drugs. Like there's a difference.
I haven't gone that far, but
they had good personalities at the time when they were not on the drugs. And that was before I knew. But like, this is just such a no. And not to be like, I don't know, not antagonistic, but like not to be like gatekeeping of like dating apps or whatever. 21 is very young to be on a dating app when you are having these things where you can meet people through like mutual friends and house parties and all of that.
In college.
Yeah, like that is one of those things that like
maybe they're at an all girls college.
Yeah, maybe it's that. and they think it's a Sarah Lawrence party and everybody needs to bring a boy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is no. It's not even like he's gonna kill her necessarily. Like, what if he just like steals your like bottle opener?
Or
Like,
what if he
like,
just sucks and then brings down the vibe of the party?
Yeah, like, what if he like takes over the music and he's like, and all he wants to play is like Meghan Trainor and like Jason Derulo, and you're like, no, like current Jason Derulo, like, no. What if he smells?
There's a lot of things here that is working against her, and you do not want that person in your home. So just shut it down.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not cool with that. And I say this as like, and if strangers come to your party, I've had house parties that, I mean, I wasn't throwing them, but the people I lived with were throwing them. And then when I finally broke down the door, because of course they locked me out, you can read all this in my book, and I saw strangers with their literal, like, raw ass on their own hookah coals on our carpet. I was like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Get the fuck out. Like, you should not tolerate strangers in your space.
Mm-hmm. All right, next one. I'm 19, she, her, and I think my classmate is around the same age. We're in a communications class together and have a group project to work on. She keeps calling me all the time about things that have absolutely nothing to do with our project, like talking about TV shows that we briefly mentioned or asking me for a manicure place recommendation. I think she might just need a friend, which I understand, but this girl is super annoying. Who surprise calls someone 3 to 4 times a day? I think it's weird, but I can't be rude to her because we have the same major and we will be in class together for the next 4 years. Would I be wrong to tell her that I don't have friendship vibes? How do I go about this?
Okay, I don't think it's that way. I think we could do a little better than that.
We're just not vibing as
I'm so
friends.
sorry. We actually don't have friendship vibes. We have classmate vibes.
We're co-workers, so that's it.
Cohorts. No, like, I understand you. I respect you. Let's workshop. Let's try that again. Like, that's just not the way to
And that's why they're here.
We're here to help you. We agree with you. Let's rework this. Let's do it a little kinder. Change your phone number.
No, they have to work together on their group projects. Be like, I only respond to emails.
What? Like, don't answer the phone when they call. And then it's, sorry, Mr. Call. What's up? Like 2 hours later. Like, because it sounds like a lot of the stuff she's asking is like somewhat pertinent. Like, it's somewhat topical of like, I don't think she's sitting in her room with like a list of like things to ask friends about, like where to get a manicure. Like, it could be like she's going to go get a manicure or whatever. And like, that can be like, she can still like want to have a friend, but you just don't, if you keep answering the phone, she's just waiting for one of them to hit. One of the, where do I get good pho? Or what color pants do you think I should wear tomorrow? Like, she's just waiting for you to have an opinion or thoughts and feelings or care about one of them. So you need to stop answering the phone and you just need to text back and then just immediately change the subject to school. Big breaks between the texting, all of that. Is that meaner? I don't know.
I thought of something, but we cannot talk about it at all on this microphone. But think back to something that I said.
I'm already there. I'm already there.
That person very much advocated for what this person is doing.
Here's the thing. Some people also might just not get it.
Yeah.
You might
even when people leave them horrible messages saying, you know what? This isn't cool. This is weird. And they're like, nah.
Nah, she didn't mean that. Oh, okay. Yeah. So the extreme measures also might not even work, so don't start with those.
No, this person thinks that you do have friendship vibes, and she's picking up on the wrong thing from you because you're probably you can either be one or two things. You're probably like just a nice person who's being friendly and keeping great communications because you are a communications major.
Oof.
And
you actually face this peril in every job.
And you're trying to keep the peace while you're working on your group project together. Or two, you're just like very cool and nonchalant. And she's like, I got to get into this person's brain. I have to be their friend.
Maybe you're her personal influencer. She just like wants to know where you go and what things you do because she wants to be more like you. She doesn't want to be friends with you. She just like was like, no, I'm just like taking inspo. But like, this is someone who just does not know class friends, like what it means to be like. And I'm the way I crush a class friend, like because I horrible social anxiety, but also ADHD and like not good at a lot of subjects. I needed allies in my classes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was friends with people from like, people used to joke all the time, like Meghan is friends with some of the most random fucking people that like are my class friends. Valedictorian, well, I've known her forever, but like smartest girl in our school, valedictorian, Mensa scholar. She would let me copy off her, but then she would help me to dumb it down so it was more believable because I couldn't copy off of her because she's smarter than everybody. She's not even doing most of the same work we're doing. But like, I was friends with so many people in that instance, and we knew that friendship was like, you know, if I saw them out, like it'd be like fun, cool, like we go to this party or whatever. But like, we would hang out in class. It would make our class time exponentially more enjoyable. Mm-hmm. But that was what we had in common. We didn't have like our hobbies really in common or any of that other stuff. And when you try and push it too far, you know, maybe make it seem like you guys don't have much in common too.
Yeah, because it's like I had a class, like somebody I sat next to and thinking about, this was in like middle school, junior high. We sat next to each other in a couple classes because it was alphabetical.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had good like class friend vibes, but we were not in the same friend circles. And I thought she was funny. She thought I was funny. And like, even I think after school, we'd sometimes just like sit and chat. But then I invited her to my birthday party and all my friends were like, why is she here? And I was like, y'all are being bitches.
Mm-hmm.
And then also she was just like sitting in the corner, not talking to anybody. And sometimes those people just don't mix.
Yeah. Because what you share and what you have in common, that like breaks that ice. And when you remove that aspect of it, like it's clunky and it's awkward and it's like just not the right vibe. And I think like you aren't picking up on the friend vibes because they're not there. She's not picking up on friend vibes that she feels. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I think you're probably placating her in a way that makes her feel like, oh yeah, we definitely would be friends. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, it's not being rude, but it's just like, you know, if you're trying to like get her to shut up and you're just kind of agreeing with her, she might just think you have a lot in common.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you're wrong for feeling it. You would be wrong if you just said this point blank.
Sorry.
Hey, but I just don't have friendship vibes. Nah, man. Yeah. Oh. Okay.
All right. So we're going to take a break and when we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Brav Bros. Two guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Brav Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're two dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Brav Bros.
Good job.
If you are caught up in the Barbenheimer frenzy, if you love ranking the Mission Impossible films, if you are just an all-around movie fan, I have a podcast for you. Hello, I'm Amy Nicholson. I'm a film critic who writes for the New York Times, and I am also the co-host of Unspooled, the ultimate movie podcast. Each week, my co-host Paul Scheer and I unspool famous films to see if they are truly all-time classics. From the original 1984 Karate Kid to Children of Men to more recent pictures to Dune, yes, to Citizen Kane, we cover it all. Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the magical millennial.
And I'm the dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, we are back and it's time for our final segment, But Are They Wrong?, where we nominate a person, place, or thing, pop culture, news, zeitgeist, who needs to be publicly shamed. Now, this has been hard for me to find things that are not political because I don't want to talk about it.
Mine is political adjacent, but it's not specifically political.
Yeah. So that's how I have been feeling about it. So I had one that was like, it's like one of those political things that like is so fucking ridiculous that it is almost it's obviously sad and like deranged, but like it is also low key funny. And I know the news anchor who was talking about it was like trying to hold back her laughter, being like, "There's no way, no, you actually just said this." But then I have one that for me is a mystery wrapped in an enigma. I don't know if it's wrapped in cash, maybe because there's bail. And this one is something I just want to talk about that's not political because I'm so confused by it. And this is something I saw online. The title from BBC. And I guess my nomination is the woman in question. And what did that woman do? Woman used fart selfies to harass partner's ex.
What?
Brand new sentence. Exactly.
Did you find this on the subreddit called Brand New Sentences?
No, but I should post it on there. Because why, BBC, why are you talking to me like I know what a fart selfie is?
What is a fart selfie?
Great question. Great.
Do you open up your booty cheeks as one is about to ripple through and then click? Like a whole pic, but only when a fart's coming.
An active whole pic. An erupting whole pic. She's gonna blow! A woman who sent videos of herself passing wind, so British, passing wind, in a series of harassing messages to her boyfriend's ex-partner has been given a community order. She's a 25-year-old. Rhiannon Evans pled guilty to pursuing a course of conduct amounting to the harassment. I would like to say, I don't know how many fart selfies you could send to someone in America to then be able to press charges. Because, like, I feel like no one would let us do this.
So it's a video?
Yeah, and that's why I get annoyed. They said selfie because it's a video.
It's a photo.
Prosecutor said that
it's a
her
fart
first
blog.
Day in my fart. POV, you are my fart. Evans' first inappropriate video, she proceeds to pass gas by placing the camera on her bottom and passing the gas. She sent 3 more fart selfies to victim Deborah Prythurch via WhatsApp in December, and 4 more in the following days, showing her passing wind with her face smiling in the camera. And I did have questions about the angle because, by the way, what is she eating that she's able to like, hey, here's one coming, it's a Bruin. Let me do this, and then make sure that like she can get her ass and her face in it at the same time.
She might be having those sugar-free gummy bears.
This also makes me think this is not the first time that she has done this.
Like, who thinks of this?
Well, that's what I was wondering. And the way that they're talking about it, I'm like, is this an epidemic in the UK? They're like, those fart selfies. And it's like to the point where like, I'm not saying that like she shouldn't be able to like press charges against her. I'm just saying that like people say like America's so litigious. The way you could not fucking press charges for this, like you wouldn't be able to. Like anytime that someone's like, oh, this person's harassing you over text, they go, block their number, like just turn your phone off. Like they do not fucking care. So she was warned after police caught wind of the issue. See what you did there, BBC? But she sent further messages on Boxing Day and New Year's Day. So I guess they showed up to her house and they said, please stop sending those videos of you farting to this girl. And she said, okay. And then she just sent more. She was arrested at her home and she was given 12-month community order and fines. And I assume that's like community service, or I don't think it's like parole. I don't think she's like on house arrest. And she suggested that she wanted to send videos because she felt her partner was being treated unfairly. It was purely malicious. She was smirking through it, found it hilarious, but the victim didn't. And I think there's probably more to this because it does say, I just would like to feel safe in my home.
Was her ass just bare? Because then I can see how they can ratchet that up because it's a sexual harassment. Because that makes it sexual then.
Is she sitting Winnie the Pooh on her bed, ass cheeks? Mm-hmm. She's just sitting it like
it reminds me, that
pink
Grinch.
Eye. She has pink eye without a doubt.
That Grinch, it's like a Grinch where it's like the Grinch bent over. It's not the actual Grinch, but somebody in a Grinch costume, like on a couch looking back at it. That's what's happening.
Like, this is just wild. And the part that like makes me feel bad, I'm like, I'm sure that like I don't think this is the first round of like, I'm going to harass my boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. But like, this is the one that gets traction. I'm like, I'm sure she's done so many up. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, to me, this is not the first.
This isn't step one.
No, fart selfies are never step one. Then this part that they throw in at the end. Who is this? Probation officer? I don't know. But one of the people involved quoted saying, There are some issues going on between Miss Evans' partner and his ex-partner in regard to child contact. And I go, I'm so sorry, are these going to be in your custody hearings? That's going to be like, the judge is going to play these videos of you farting. So she said at the time she sent these videos, she had some drinks. And she sent them, now understanding that she has caused the victim some distress. So she's a 2-year restraining order. Oh, by the way, she must pay £100 compensation and then £200 in costs.
Not that much, is it?
No, it's not at all. £300 in total.
100 pounds is $123 in American money.
Well, it's also because the court fee, like the cost fees, I guess, are only £200, which is not what our legal system would cost. So
thank you for sharing, Megan.
You're welcome. I just thought it was a little more like off kilter than like the congressman who said, I don't like child labor laws and I think kindergartners should get jobs.
Yep, I saw that.
Yep.
Or just RFK's whole thing. How is
So
this happening? All right, now it's time for mine. And there's this really dumb, first of all, Instagram Reels is one of the most awful places on the internet. I don't know how I'm always getting some videos of like sex classes.
I don't know either. And you need to stop sending them to me.
If I have to see it, somebody else has to see it.
I do that to moms too.
So I saw somebody else. They were in some other type of workout class where they were just holding their partner and they were shaking. And the thing is, I'm never just clicking on it for fun. It is an accidental tap. I don't understand. It's terrible. It's awful. And I saw something that it's not, what I'm about to say isn't funny, but it's a trend that's happening of people going to their local Mexican restaurant and saying, and then like setting up a video in front of the people that work there and doing like a little dance and being like distracting ICE so they don't come and grab the workers at my favorite Mexican restaurant. I guarantee these people don't know that you're in there, that they're in this video, what you're saying. They probably just see some weird ass white man dancing in front of them and they're laughing at that and judging what they're doing. And then later you're putting something on the screen and they had no idea that they had been put in this dumbass video, this offensive video, this disgusting video.
And a video that implies that these people are illegal immigrants, and then putting it online on social media, and then their faces attached to people you do not know if they are quote unquote illegal immigrants. And I use that term
undocumented.
That's right, in the aspect of who is being quote unquote targeted is as they say, people who have committed crimes and all of this.
Plenty of white ass Canadians that are here that are undocumented.
Elon Musk was not born here.
And his brother said that when they first got here that they were undocumented too.
That just it makes me so fucking mad. And like you're doing the exact opposite. And like
now
I've
you're
seen
bringing attention to them, and then they're gonna get rated for no fucking reason because you made this stupid fucking video.
And those people probably think that like, oh well, you know, they will without a doubt, like, you know, if they're here legally again, quote unquote, in these terms, oh, they're here, they'll show their papers, it'll be fine. No. They don't care about that. They just want anyone who is not white out. They're going to detain them without looking in. They're not going to do it. You're going to traumatize people. All of these things. People are going to be falsely accused of this, target on their, all X, Y, and Z, whatever. People could lose their jobs. All of this stuff. Like, it is not like this, this is how much I care about them. And I also really hate, even if it's like well-meaning, again, quote unquote, this kind of relation to like personal relationships with people who have immigrated to the United States gives the same vibe as that lady on The View saying, well, who's going to clean your toilets? Like,
it's the exact same thing. It's racist at its core. When you think that you're doing something. Actually, I don't even think the people participating in these videos think that they're even doing something that is quote unquote helpful. I think they're just doing it to make content, and they probably would be the first people to call to
I think that
report
people
something.
who are maybe engaging or commenting on it think like, oh my gosh, this is how I feel. And I'm like, no. Why? Why is that your instinct is like...
Why do you just automatically assume that they're undocumented?
And why is like the first person that you think of is like someone who works at an establishment where you go to pay money, and then you're treating them like, oh, these poor little bit. These are humans that are doing their job, and like you're viewing it as like but they do this thing for me, and I'm like, they're doing their job, and you're a paying customer of their job. Like that's such a fucking weird, as opposed to thinking of like, oh my gosh, all of the young kids in schools, all of any of these things that come from an aspect of like, you don't have to know people personally. And if the only people you know personally are people you're assuming are immigrants at a restaurant you go to is so fucking weird. It pisses me off. If I see anybody doing that shit, now I will. Oh, your phone has suddenly shattered.
Throat chop.
I gotta say, that is, people want to talk shit on California. People want to talk shit on LA. We have never been more united. Now is not the time. The way that LA is rolling up on, like, people are driving to Huntington Beach when Huntington Beach like had a celebration for not being not safe haven, whatever the space of like, we're not using our police officers or any of our police force to come in and assist in any sort of ICE raids or anything like that. And like, we're not going to pursue this as like as a state or a city. As a city, and the Huntington Beach was like, we're actually gonna do that, and like, here's our celebration. All these people in LA were like, cool, I'm gonna run up there, and they like literally showed up, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm scared, no, never mind. Like, no, like,
trash,
absolute fucking trash.
All right, well, that's the end of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you'd like to participate, send us an email to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. Keep it to 300 words or less. Cast people in it if you want. Change any real names.
Change the race if you
give us their ages and pronouns if you'd like. And or plus, you can send us DMs to our Instagram, Meghan and Melisa. Meghan with an H, Melisa with one S. Give us your thoughts and feelings. You can also participate in an additional way by voting.
And you can always tell us like things you want us to cover or talk about or whatever. And we always appreciate that. And punch a Nazi if you see anyone do anything nefarious. And also, no matter where you are in the country, there's lots of great things to like learn resources about, you know, how to say like ICE, like there's an ICE raid happening or whatever, and whatever language is most common with that. I think a lot of people are racist and are just viewing this as solely happening to border cities, like border towns, and specifically like Mexican appearing, like Latino brown skin or whatever. It is also happening to people of Asian descent. It's happening in like all this other stuff. So stay vigilant and
follow the ACLU. They've got a lot of good language to use to communicate. So.
And I'm also like retweeting anytime I see, not tweeting. I am like resharing on TikTok anytime I see people are like, watch this video for a minute for pay for immigration lawyer fees, as well as like teachers talking about that kind of stuff. And our local news has also done a whole breakdown for teachers of like the specific state and city laws for what to do to how to protect your students. And most states and cities are also doing that. So, because I know we do have people who are teachers, and that's another thing that you should not be having to fucking deal with as a teacher in this country. Insane. But how about what if your kindergartners just got jobs?
Then they can pay for their lunches.
For their school lunches. He goes, I was working. And I go, shut the fuck up.
But also then as he kept talking, he was talking about having a job as a high schooler.
And she kept going, well, we're talking about kindergarten. She goes, I'm not. And she's like,
but that is the discussion that is on the table. These like, fucking idiots.
We're not getting rid of school lunches for people over 16. You're getting rid of the school lunch program for all students that starts in California. That starts
pre-K.
in TK. Like, that's, you're insane. He's like, well, I had a summer job. And I'm like, okay, please tell me where a 5-year, he's like, well, he's child labor.
But also a summer job isn't going to pay for your lunch for a whole school year.
Won't it pay for your lunch? Then who's going to pay for your lunch during the summer? Where's that money coming from? And like, I just know as someone who like my summer job was like probably similar to his and grew up in a white affluent area. I was a lifeguard assistant making $5 an hour, like that, versus like my dad. I think he was underage doing. He worked in the steel mills. Like those are different things. And like this idea of like children, he goes, "Well, these pesky child labor laws." And that woman though, she was trying so hard not to like laugh at this man, being like, "You're kidding." And he also was kind of turned on by her, and that whole like interaction. I was like, "You're a fucking freak."
All right. Well.
The end.
We will circle
back.
Bye.
Wait a sec. Bye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.
Hey, do you like true crime? Me too. And I know what you're thinking. There's so many true crime pods out there, you've already heard all the stories. Well, what if I were to tell you you're wrong? I'm Leroy Luna, the host of Excuse Me, That's Illegal, the podcast that takes a hardcore look at softcore crime. I've got a back catalog of hundreds of bizarre and hilarious stories just waiting to be heard by you. So come join me. Excuse Me, That's Illegal is available anywhere you get your favorite podcasts, with new episodes dropping on the 10th, 20th, and 30th every month, baby!